It was a cold Tuesday morning, and the city was alive with the sounds of another busy day. People hurried through crowded streets, clutching coffee cups and wearing expressions of impatience. On the 7:45 a.m. bus, it was no different. The vehicle was packed with commuters, their eyes fixed on phones or distant points outside the fogged windows. Among them was Marcus, a 22-year-old student juggling a hectic life of part-time jobs and long hours of study. His world was one of constant motion, and he'd learned to find solace in the routine of his daily commute. As the bus jolted to its next stop, an elderly woman boarded. She moved slowly, her hands trembling as she clung to the cold metal railing for support. Her beige coat, frayed at the edges, hung loosely over her thin frame. The other passengers barely looked up. Most were absorbed in their own worlds, their gazes deliberately avoiding her as she scanned the crowded bus for a seat. Marcus noticed her right away. He couldn't ignore the struggle in her eyes, the way she braced herself against the swaying of the bus. Without hesitation, he stood. "Here, ma'am," he said, gesturing to his seat. "Please, take this." The woman turned to him, her eyes filled with something Marcus couldn't quite place, gratitude, perhaps, or maybe something deeper. She nodded silently and sat down. After a moment, she looked up at him and spoke. "Thank you, young man," she said in a voice that was soft but carried an undeniable weight. "Not many people would do what you just did." Before Marcus could respond, the woman reached into her worn handbag. From within, she pulled out a small, aged card and held it out to him. "What's this?" he asked, hesitating before taking it. "It's for you," she said simply. Her voice was calm, almost solemn. "You'll understand soon enough." Confused but intrigued, Marcus took the card. It was old, its edges frayed and the paper faded. On it, the number 8877 was written in bold, black ink. Marcus wanted to ask more, but the woman simply smiled at him, a mysterious, almost knowing smile. Before we continue, if this story has captured your attention, please consider subscribing to our channel. We're on a mission to reach 1,000 subscribers, and every single one of you makes a difference. Your support allows us to share more meaningful stories like this one, stories that remind us of the importance of kindness and connection. Let's get back to the story, because what happens next will leave you speechless. As Marcus sat down at his desk later that evening, he couldn't stop thinking about the woman and the card. The number 8877 stared back at him, its meaning a complete mystery. Unable to shake his curiosity, he opened his laptop and began typing the number into search engines. What he found left him frozen. The first result was a news article, dated exactly 50 years ago. It described a tragic bus accident involving the same route Marcus took every morning. Among the victims listed was a woman named Eleanor Hart, a widow who had no surviving family. The article mentioned that Eleanor had been holding a numbered card, 8877, at the time of her death. Marcus's hands trembled as he scrolled down. A black and white photograph accompanied the article, and there, staring back at him, was the same elderly woman he had met earlier that day. It was her, there was no doubt in his mind. His thoughts raced. How could this be possible? He had spoken to her, given her his seat, and even held the card she'd given him. But according to this article, she had died decades ago. Was it a coincidence? A cruel prank? Or something far more mysterious? Over the next few days, strange things began happening to Marcus. Opportunities he hadn't even imagined began falling into his lap. A scholarship he hadn't applied for was suddenly awarded to him, relieving him of his financial stress. His part-time job offered him extra hours with better pay. Even his professor, known for his strictness, unexpectedly extended a deadline for a major project Marcus had been struggling to complete. It was as though his luck had turned overnight. As these events unfolded, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that they were connected to the card. It sat on his desk like a silent guardian, its presence both comforting and unnerving. Driven by a need for answers, Marcus returned to the bus stop where he had first met the woman. He stood there, the evening air cool against his skin, hoping for some kind of resolution. As the wind picked up, carrying the faint scent of lavender, Marcus felt a wave of peace wash over him. He closed his eyes and smiled. Somehow, he knew Eleanor was watching over him. This encounter changed Marcus's life forever. He realized that small acts of kindness, like offering a seat to a stranger, could ripple outward in ways he couldn't begin to comprehend. Whether Eleanor was a ghost, a figment of his imagination, or something beyond explanation didn't matter. What mattered was the lesson: compassion and generosity have the power to transform lives, including our own. If this story moved you, I want to take a moment to ask for your support. We're working hard to reach our first 1,000 subscribers, and your help is vital to achieving that goal. By subscribing, liking this video, and sharing it with others, you're not just supporting our channel, you're helping spread messages of kindness and hope to people around the world. And if you feel inspired to go a step further, consider donating to our channel. Your contributions, no matter how small, allow us to continue creating meaningful content that touches hearts and changes lives. Every act of generosity makes a difference, just like Marcus's act of kindness did. You can find the donation link in the description below. Finally, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a moment of kindness that changed your life in unexpected ways? Share your story in the comments. Let's inspire each other to keep making the world a better place, one small act at a time. Thank you for being part of this journey with us.